Hi, you're right. Okay, so the last video was me explaining how to do the multipliers on the previous page, and page 3 is all about all about going through how to actually use those to increase or decrease an amount by a certain percentage. So the first one is already done for us as an example. We want to increase 56 by 25%. So remembering from the previous page, what we would do is turn this into a decimal first, and that would be 0.25. And because it's an increase, we would add that to 1 to get 1.25. And that's our percentage multiplier, because we're going to multiply by it. And when we multiply by 1.25, multiplying by 1 would just give us 56. That would find 100%. So this bit represents the 100% of the original amount. And then this bit is the extra 25%. Okay, so that gives us 70. So we're going to use this on the next one as well. So 6 is the original amount. I want to increase it by 50%. So that as a decimal would be 0.5. So I'm going to times 6 by 1.5. And that will give me 9. Okay, so if you think about it, half or 50% of 6 is 3. If we've increased it by 3, we get 9. Okay, 5 to increase by 20%. Well, first turn 20% into a decimal, 0.2. So we're going to times 5 by 1.2. Remember, just add the decimal to 1, and that would give us 6. This is a decimal of 0.75, so we're going to times 8 by 1.75, and that will give us 14. For number 5, 90% as a decimal is 0.9. So we're going to times 10 by 1.9, and that will give us 19. 2% is a bit harder, that's 0.02, not 0.2. So we're going to times 50 by 1.02, and that will give us 51. 100% is 1 as a decimal. Seems weird because that's kind of not a decimal, but it's the same process. We've divided each of these by 100 to find their decimal. So when we times 21 by, okay, now we need to add 1 to 1, just like we have done with all the other decimals. So we would times it by 2, and that gives 42. Get a bit harder for number 8. We want to increase by 150%, so that would be 1.5. We're going to add that to 1, which would give us 2.5. We're going to times 38 by 2.5, which would be 76 plus 19, 95. Okay, you can use a calculator for those, by the way. Okay, number 9. Now, make sure you notice that we are decreasing this time, so slightly different. What we're going to do is take away this number as a decimal, so that would be 0.3. We're going to take that away from 1. To get this number here. Okay, so for number 10, if we take away 0.5 from 1, we're still left with 0.5. So we're going to do 18 times 0.5, in other words, finding the remaining 50%, and that would be 9. If we take away 4%, that's 0.04. Take that away from 1, and we get 0.96. Do 25 times 0.96, we get 24. This would be 0.35. Take that away from 1, we've got 0.65. 60 times that. That time I got a calculator up, I think. Oops. 39. Okay. If we turn this into a decimal at 0.15, take it away from 1, we've got 0.85. And that gives us 34. 75% is 0.75. take that away from 1 and we've got 0.25. So in other words, a quarter. So this is like saying find the remaining quarter of 64. And that would be 16. 45% is 0.45. Take it away from 1 and we're left with 0.55. So that leaves us 22. And if we take 200% away from, turn it into a decimal first, that will be 2. Take that away from 1, and that will be -1. So if we do 12 times -1, we get -12. And if you think about it, if we're taking away 200% of this, we're taking away itself, which would be 100%, and then we're taking away itself again. And if you think about taking away 2 lots of 12 from that, it would give us -12. Okay, hopefully that made sense. I'll go through the next page in the next video as well.